What's going on, everyone? Welcome to It's a Vibe Sports Talk. I am Waiver Wire Queen, and we got Dave in the building,
Yes.
and we got Quinton, aka the biggest Cowboys fan
What up, what
in the
up?
world. That we're going to be evaluating the NFC South. Y'all can dig it. Y'all ready?
Yes, man, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So before we jump into that, y'all hit the like button to make the YouTube algorithm go crazy and to see more videos like this of your favorite sports team. Yes, and if you are a Giants fan, make sure you hit the like button 2 or 3 times just because we are the best. I kind of like that. All right, y'all. So we're about to talk about the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the
Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers were 11-5 on the season. They have the GOAT, Tom Brady, as their quarterback. Obviously, that was his first year with Tampa. Expectations were high because when you signed the GOAT, you go from under 500 to Super Bowl contender. So, Dave, we're going to start with you. What was the major issues with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 2020 season? And do you think they addressed those issues in the draft and in free agency?
I don't think they had too many issues, which is why they won the Super Bowl. And I think they had a really good draft. I mean, most of the team is coming back, so I see them as the team to beat again this year.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
Yeah, it's true.
I agree with
You
that.
got you got Fournette coming back. They got the best wide receivers, Evans and Good and Godwin. I mean,
Antonio Brown.
yes. You got
So
Yeah,
I'm
I would say that's a good group.
tight end there a little weekend, I think, but Gronkowski is kind of old. OJ Howard, I'm not big on him.
He was doing well until he got hurt.
mm,
So I'm hoping that once he's healthy, that he'll get right back to what he was doing with Brady because they weren't playing Gronk as much. He was more situational, and he was doing all right. He liked break as well. They have a really good squad
Yeah,
it,
they have a
both
good team.
sides. Yes, they do.
Yep.
They have a solid team. I've always liked Leonard Fournette.
Mm.
Didn't work out Jacksonville, but I mean, hell, how many players work out in Jacksonville? Hopefully, they're starting something fresh.
And Ronald Jones is
However,
that good too.
huh?
Ronald Jones is pretty good too.
I mean, I've never been high on him. We all know Quentin is extra high on Ronald Jones. I mean, that's like his favorite running back of all time. But yes, to me, once they started giving Fournette the ball more, especially y'all watched that in the Super Bowl, especially in the first half, they were a different team. The defense was solid. Yeah, they had the number one run D. I mean, when you have Barrett, Sue, JPP,
Yes.
and who am I missing? I'm missing someone.
I mean Barrett.
yeah, Shaq Barrett. They had a
Mhm.
White,
Um,
White and
Yeah.
Devin White. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, they had a really good defense and they showed up and they showed out in the Super Bowl and they won. That was one of the keys. I said that if they can hit Pat Mahomes, they were going to win. And they hit him way more than what I thought. I knew it was going to
Hey,
be a
boy.
tough game for
Yeah,
Pat because they had two of their key offensive linemen out. I knew they were going to get to him, but I didn't know it was going to be that
I
bad. I knew it was
really
going to be bad.
underestimated their defense, man. I really did. Their defense is good.
Yeah, because we had conversations about their defense at
Yeah.
times, and I'm like, yeah, their defense is solid. Their defense is solid. Now, I will say that at first half of the season, they were kind of inconsistent, and I'll just chalk that up to new quarterback. Um, are they gonna let him control and do his thing? Like he didn't have that option in New England. So finally gave him some more control, started listening like they did this past off season, and also with the AB signing,
Yep.
and they won a Super Bowl. And so what did they do? They are listening. that is important. Sometimes you got to listen to your quarterback, Green Bay. But I'm just waiver wire queen, so maybe I just don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
What you think, Quentin?
So I agree with you. The defense for me was key. What I did notice was so Kansas City Chiefs played Tampa Bay in the regular season, and Tyreek Hill went slap stupid. I mean, he went off. He even hit him with the call to the White House. They need reinforcements. And the biggest takeaway that I saw was the coverage, the cornerbacks, and then they had the rookie safety. I believe it was Whitfield. I'm
Hmm.
messing up his name. But they all stepped up and did a tremendous job. And the key for me that they're bringing all these guys back. So I want to say that defense stepped up in the biggest moment, and I believe they're looking to run the tables back again. Um, it'll be interesting to see Tom Brady's arm strength.
Hmm.
What I mean, at this point, it's like muscle memory for Tom Brady. So it's like watching Picasso paint. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I think the defense is ready.
I think they're going to have a solid season this year. They're not going to have those issues they had early on in
No,
2020 because now, everybody's familiar with each other. Everyone knows their roles, going to play their
Right.
position. As once you get to the Super Bowl and you win, what do you want to do? You want to go back. So
very
I think everyone re-signing should tell you a lot. It's telling. It's like, okay, we're here, we're committed to trying to win a second Super Bowl. Tom Brady has the most talented squad that he's probably ever been a part of. You got Evans, AB. I think this season AB is probably going to be much better than he was last season. You
oh
got Godwin, you got Fournette. I mean,
Right.
they have a really good team, and they signed Giovanni Bernard, so they have endless weapons. And then when you bring everyone back, and then you enter the draft, and you still have a solid draft, kudos to the Bucs. I expect them to compete at the highest level this season, and I expect their record to increase. So we're gonna go with you, Quentin. Tampa Bay will improve their record from 2020 to 2021 if
Bruce Arians gets out of Tom Brady's way and lets Tom Brady run the offense the way Tom Brady wants to run the offense, and they have a solid chance because they have depth at every position. So yeah, they got a pretty solid chance to just run through the NFL this season. So I'm excited to see it.
yeah, I agree with you on that. And that was part of the biggest issue at the beginning of the season. Bruce wanted to control, and you want to win, Bruce. You let Tom Brady do his thing, and he finally allowed Tom to be Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Right.
That's right. Waiver Wire Queen is admitting he's the GOAT. And guess what? Super Bowl. So,
Yeah.
Dave,
Hmm.
the Bucs will improve their record from 2020 to 2021 if.
If they stay healthy, that's
Mhm.
that's a big thing for me. As long as they stay healthy, like you said, Quinn, like with the depth that they have and bringing back everybody and the improvements that they made,
Yeah.
uh, I see them as the team to beat.
Yes, that health is wealth. I always say that is important,
Yeah.
especially with the type of game they're
Especially with the
playing.
age of obviously Brady, like
Mhm.
but to his credit, like he every year he seems to like be healthy. So
Yeah, he sure is, and that's the most important thing. You protect your quarterback.
yeah,
So
exactly.
they think about in the Super Bowl, Chiefs weren't touching Tom Brady.
Nope.
They couldn't even give him a high five or touch his jersey. They couldn't even get up in there and smell his breath if they wanted to because they protected the quarterback. That is
Right.
the key. Protect your franchise. Right now, even though Tom Brady is 43, he is their franchise quarterback.
Right.
So it may be a short-term thing, but hell, how many teams are willing to take a short-term chance on winning a Super Bowl? Most teams would be. And so I'm in agreement. Health as well. That is probably the most important thing for any team in the NFL. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what the GOAT is going to do in 2021. Woo. All right, so let's talk about the Saints. We're going to talk about Quinton's favorite team, the Saints, because if it ain't the Cowboys, it's the Saints, and they're close. So the Saints finished the season with a 12-5 record. Drew Brees, one of my faves, he retired at the end of the season. He was actually hurt during the season, so he's now retired. Michael Thomas was hurt for most of the season, and he's obviously one of their top players, and that had a major impact on their season. And obviously, they did not meet their goals. They didn't reach their goals and win a Super Bowl, because when you're expecting Drew Brees to retire at the end of the season, your goal is we got to get back to a Super Bowl. They fell short. And now they're facing life after Drew Brees. So, Quinton, what was your major issue with the Saints in 2020? Do you think they've addressed those issues during free agency or the draft?
So obviously, without Drew Brees, it's a different team. They don't know who they want to go with. I'm gonna limb and just say yes, they're gonna give it to Jameis Winston, and that's fine. You still have Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas needs to be the Michael Thomas of old. He has been injured. His performance has been subpar. I want to say the past 2 seasons. But overall, they out on the opportunity to pick up either Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. They needed, and they also reinforced on the offensive line. Neither of which I believe they addressed in the draft or through free agency. So their defense has always been solid, but they need to overhaul on that offense and find out who's their starting QB. And Sean Payton has a tough road ahead.
He sure does have a tough road ahead. I'll touch on the Michael Thomas briefly, and then we'll hear from Dave. So Michael Thomas, season before last, was his best season. So it was just this season that he suffered some injuries, which he couldn't get out. He couldn't overcome those injuries. He came back, had to go back out. And my biggest issue with everyone is they're treating Thomas as if he is not going to have a solid year this year. Okay, fantasy football guys. Waiver Wire Queen is telling you guys now, Michael Thomas is going to have a bounce back season. He's not going to have that production before this past season where he suffered all those injuries. However, he is going to have a great season, and for all of the players, all of the owners passing him up in the draft, I don't know what to say. Y'all need to get it together and draft Michael Thomas, or go and trade for him, because if you figure if people are sleeping on him, they're not valuing him as one of the top 5 wide receivers in NFL anymore, you can get him for less than what you would pay when they're valuing him as the top, if not the best, because you gotta think about it. Adams had best output, best production this past season. Season before last, it was Michael Thomas on that same level. So y'all better beware and be ready. Michael Thomas about to come back. That's some fantasy talk for you guys. If you don't have Thomas, go on and get him. Dave, go on, Dave. What are your thoughts of the Saints 2020 season? And do you think they've addressed any of those issues in the draft or during free agency?
Yeah, I think they did. I think my thing is the quarterback. Winston is starting for them.
They're gonna have a competition. It's gonna be
Winston
Hill
and
versus
Hill?
Winston. They're gonna, I guess they're gonna battle it out.
I think that's gonna be their little issue.
Yeah, they don't know yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be an issue for them in 2021. And Thomas, like you said, I think he's under. He's under. But with these two quarterbacks, you really think he's gonna have a good fantasy year?
Nope.
I think if Winston is in there, his production will be higher than it would be with Hill. However, when he played last season and was limited with Hill, he actually looked for him. Hill got him the ball. However, the only thing is he just didn't get a touchdown. But if Winston is the starting quarterback, he's going to get that production, because what if we don't know anything about Winston? We know that, of course, he turned the ball over a lot, but he did air it out. And Mike Evans never had a bad season with Winston. So if Winston is the guy, then everybody's going to regret drafting Brandon Cooks before Michael Thomas. They're going to regret drafting some of those wide receivers that probably should be on waivers before Michael Thomas. Like, I was watching Michael Thomas go in like the 7th round, and I'm like, okay, all right.
Was that Monday?
It was in all the drafts that I've been a part of so far. He's been
Oh,
he's been disrespected. Okay.
Yeah, he has. I ain't gonna lie.
Come on now. Brandon Cooks should not be going ahead of Michael Thomas, because you got to think Brandon Cooks is in the same situation. They don't know who's their starting quarterback. And I would still prefer Michael Thomas over Brandon Cooks, even if Waiver Wire Queen is throwing the ball with the left arm that's messed up. So come on now, y'all. Y'all gotta feel me on this one.
Nah, you're right. I think he's gonna be a sleeper this year.
Yes.
You probably got him, right? Because you got all the sleepers.
Well, I have him in a dynasty league, and they were trying to lowball me on trades for him, like trying to give me a pack of Newports for Michael Thomas. I'm like, no, I will hold on to him, and he's gonna show you guys.
She said a pack.
Why he is still a top 5 wide receiver. And you can check out my YouTube video on him. I got a buy low on Michael Thomas. Buy low. Check out that video and you will know why he's going to do a thing this upcoming season. So, Dave, we're going to go with you. The Saints will improve their record from 2020 to 2021 if they do what? What they need to do to improve? Come on.
Well, all starts with the QB. Depending on if they can get themselves a solid QB in there, if Winston could really take over that spot and hold it down, I think they'll have a decent year. I don't know if I see them winning that division, but
you know what? I think that the major issue with Winston is the turnovers. If he can control those turnovers, like if he's been learning from Breeze these last 2 seasons, and he's been really just working on improving his game, if he's the guy, I still can see them finishing with the same record, because he's solid. It's just the turnovers that kill him. Like, you cannot have 30 turnovers or whatever the case may be. It's not going to work at quarterback. If he can control those turnovers, the Saints will be all right. Now, observing Hill, the offense kind of suffered. Even Kamara's output kind of went down, because you figure you're at the goal line. You want to see Kamara run it in for a touchdown. You want him with the ball in his hands, especially a fantasy owner. You're at the 1 yard line. You're like, who's Kamara about to score? And then Hill takes the ball. So he kind of takes away from Kamara, in my opinion, which is why I'm hoping that it will be Winston, because me being a Michael Thomas owner and just wanting to see Michael Thomas prove everyone wrong this season, Winston is going to be better for him than Hill and Kamara, because Winston is not going to take too many touchdowns away from Kamara trying to run it in. No, that's not his thing. Right. So we'll have to see. Quinton, what do you think the Saints need to do to improve their record from 2020 to 2021.
I think you need to settle on a quarterback, which I agree should be Winston. When I watched Taysom Hill play, I saw them run 3 plays, I think it was. So you have offense.
You're not sold on him?
Yeah, nah. So I'm gonna go with Jameis Winston. If Sean Payton can get Jameis to control his turnover ratio, then I have no problem with Jameis. But that's a big if. So, that's a tall task. So good luck with that. But yeah, name Jameis the starter at the beginning of the season before the season starts. That way the locker room has unison and they can all get around Jameis. Don't do a competition throughout the season. That'll be horrible for the team. So
I agree.
Starter and ride with it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm not a fan of the whole what they've been doing with bringing Taysom Hill in. He's a quarterback, and you got Drew Brees standing over there as if he's really gonna run a route. It's not. If this is your guy, let him get out there and play. None of this back and forth stuff, because you'll ruin that guy's confidence. And they're gonna have to make that choice. I honestly feel like he's gonna go with Hill. We'll have to see. I think that the Saints will be fine if they determine who's their starting quarterback and they make the right choice when they make that decision. And if Michael Thomas come back as the top 5 wide receiver, which Waiver Wire Queen expects him to do that. And then you got to think of, they lost a lot of players. They were in cap purgatory. They let Cook go, which to me was a great thing, because it's not like he was doing anything. So I want to see what the young guy Trotman can do. I want to see what he can do at tight end. So they have a solid team. I feel like they'll improve on their record if they just identify their quarterback. But you got to be right about who you identify and say, hey, you're my guy going forward. Because if you get it wrong, it's not going to work, and everybody's going to look crazy out there. So but we'll have to see. All right, so we're going to jump into the Carolina Panthers. This is one of Dave's favorite teams, since he likes to draft their players all the time in our fantasy football leagues. So the Carolina Panthers were 5-11 on the season. Their best player was pretty much out the entire season. CMC was just he didn't have a chance, because he was done early on. Kept seeing those updates of, oh, he's coming back, didn't come back. When your best player goes down with a major injury, it's not going to look good for you. Teddy Bridgewater, he was solid, but to me, he's not a franchise quarterback. He's solid in the sense that he can be a mentor to some of the younger guys coming in. So he was their guy. So I'm going to say that they didn't have a starting franchise quarterback. And ultimately, that was the reason why they had a 5-11 record. So Dave, what do you think some of the major issues were with the Carolina Panthers during the 2020 season? And do you think they have addressed those issues through the draft, free agency?
They had a lot of issues, man. I mean, they had injuries touched them too, but besides that, they had some serious issues. And like you said, Bridgewater is not really he's not I won't say he's not a good quarterback, but he's not a quarterback I see that could take him to win the division. So I don't see the Carolina Panthers doing much this year.
Okay. And Quinton? So the Carolina Panthers have become my rival after drafting J.C. Horn. I hate Carolina.
Yes, he hates Carolina and Denver because they
and they got a tough schedule. Like, I'm here looking at their schedule.
Yeah, I hope they continue to lose.
Doesn't look good for them. I'll tell you that right now.
So I don't. What's my had Teddy Bridgewater, then you traded him away, and you got. You said that Teddy was a bridge quarterback, so you were trying to tank or get Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, or Justin Fields. You were supposed to get a quarterback, and then you for Sam Darnold, who was already in the league. You could have traded for Sam Darnold at the beginning of the season. Like you didn't have to do that. Like nah. So I don't like Carolina. I don't like. I don't like, and I don't like.
He's one of those Cowboy fans. He gets a little upset and a little in his feelings when, teams take the players that they weren't capable of getting in the draft.
That's right.
It is what it is. It's typical Cowboy hate, y'all. Y'all got to feel him. It's typical Cowboy hate.
Yeah.
Clap for the Cowboy hate. Clap for that Cowboy
hate. I think they did okay. So they picked up J.C. Horn, and then they picked up the wide receiver out of LSU, Terrace Marshall. They did a good job. They got also O-line help, but it is a rebuild, and I understand Rule his philosophy. He's trying to change the culture there, so we'll give him time. So that's more of like a 2-3 situation there. They can get a number one wide receiver soon, and
I like the chance that they were willing to take on Darnold. However, I don't like the high pick that they traded him for. But I mean, they feel like they got their guy. Then you do what you do to get your guy. CMC is coming back, so I feel like that's going to help their team. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. I like the what they did in the draft. I like that they drafted a tight end and Treble. I think he's going to be a deep sleeper in fantasy dynasty leagues. I watched a few people in some drafts take Chuba Hubbard high in the second round, and it just blew my mind. So I'm assuming they think he's the real deal. I can't say that because you're not getting on the field as long as CMC is there. So that must just be for health, just to protect you if you have CMC, because he is definitely going to be their guy. They lost Davis. He's going to be starting for the Falcons this year, who we'll talk about shortly. I do like the fact that they signed Arnold to help them at the tight end spot. He had his first solid season with the Cardinals, so I guess they're expecting him to build on that. I think at some point, once Treble puts it together, he is going to be that guy going forward because he's a solid run blocker and he's solid. So I think long term he will be their starting tight end. Not saying it's going to happen this season. If it does, it'll be late in the season. But going down the line, when I think 2 years, 3 years, he's going to be their guy. And so he was a solid investment. Moore and Anderson, they're solid. As you know, Darnold has a rapport with Anderson. So I think that duo, whoever has Anderson, is going to be happy for fantasy purposes because they did have a nice rapport when he was on the Jets. So that's a good thing. Mm-hmm.
You always high on Robbie Anderson.
Hey, you got to listen to the Waiver Wire Queen, because when I'm high on them, what that mean? They're going to do the damn thing. Cooper Kupp, y'all. Watch. So with what they're trying to do with Darnold, he actually has solid pieces around him, unlike what the Jets did to the young man. He has the pieces to see if he is a franchise quarterback. Hopefully they're right. You took a chance, you threw out a second and whatever else out there for him. So hopefully you're right, because if not, you're losing picks and then you're right back at the damn beginning of it, trying to figure out who is going to be our franchise quarterback. So hopefully they got it right. He has weapons around him, so there's not going to be any excuses. So we'll see what's going to happen with Darnold. I think he's going to be all right this season. I honestly think he will. So that's just what it is out here. All right, y'all, let's jump right into the Atlanta Falcons. I know everybody loves the Atlanta Falcons, Every time I think of the Atlanta Falcons, I think They love giving out Christmas gifts, and they love giving out Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. They love giving out gifts. They love, and what I mean by that is they love blowing leads and giving away wins to everybody, including Super Bowl championship rings to Tom Brady. All right, y'all. So the Falcons were 4-12 on the season. They were last in the division. Injuries to Julio Jones, not a solid defense, and ultimately they were last place. They haven't been the same team since they blew that lead to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They did what I asked them to do because I got on the phone and I said, hey, I need to get rid of that coach. And what they did, they got rid of the coach 2 years too late. However, new outlook. So, Dave, what do you think some of the issues were with the Falcons during the 2020 season? And do you think they've addressed those issues via the draft and free agency?
I don't think they did. I don't think they're gonna be that good either. I mean, there's talk of your boy Aaron Rodgers. Putting on a Falcon uniform.
That won't happen. Aaron Rodgers is not gonna go to the Falcons. That's just not gonna happen. Somebody was lying, wishing their team got a good.
They need a miracle. They need some kind of miracle like that over there in Atlanta.
Jeez, he's very harsh on the Falcons. Like, damn.
Yeah.
No love for the Falcons. No love for the Falcons.
Mm-mm.
All right, y'all. Quinton, what are your thoughts on the Falcons 2020 season? Do you think they've addressed any of those issues in the draft and free agency?
So I'm grabbing my popcorn and I'm sitting back watching because this is hilarious. I'll really see where Julio goes. I want to see what they actually get for Julio. I mean, it's interesting to see. I mean, we all know. I actually, to be honest with you, I thought Julio would stay, and that offense would have been lethal enough to where the defense didn't even matter. You would have had Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and then you had your boy Gage turn up at the end of the season. You still have Hurst on the roster, and you had a lot of running backs. They let go of Todd Gurley, and they let go of Todd Gurley's backup, who was actually pretty cold, Ito Smith. But so you still have a lot of running backs on their roster, but now that Julio's leaving, I'm not seeing Calvin Ridley the same as legit number one.
Ooh, I know somebody who would have an issue with that.
Yeah, nah, it's not. Calvin Ridley is not number one, not without Julio.
Can't. I need to be calling 9mm. The black hand need to be up here hearing this.
Can we have an in-call session?
We can, but we ain't, because you know how he feels about Ridley. Like, Ridley is the guy.
Because you take two defenders on defense and you cover one person in Julio Jones. But besides that, we'll see what they do. I don't think they have the same type of offense without Julio, especially with the new coach coming in. So yeah, I'm grabbing my popcorn. This is an off season.
My thoughts on the Falcons is you should be a Falcon fan since they gave y'all victory this season. They say, here you go, Cowboys, early Christmas gift, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Birthday, and all that good stuff. They pretty much gifted you guys a victory at the end of the game. I still to this day just visualize what the heck were they thinking? I just don't even know. Like, you play football all your life and you still don't understand that you can touch the ball. You can touch the ball. You can touch the ball. You're kicking. You can touch the ball. I still don't get it. I guess when you're in the moment, you never know what happens. I do feel like the defense is the worst part of the team, and they did go into the draft trying to address that. They spent several picks on defense. I like what they're trying to do. They're pretty much saying that we're going to be in a rebuild, Because when you take Kyle Pitts and now you're going to end up moving on from Julio Jones, you're telling me you're in a rebuild. You can't move Matt Ryan because his contract is atrocious. It's like over 35 million. Julio obviously will bring them some assets back, not what they're expecting. They're expecting a first. If I'm the Chiefs, I'll be willing to give up a first for him. Chiefs all day. Chiefs, or if I'm the Rams, but you gotta have the space to gotta have the cap space to bring them in. Yeah. So I feel like with that first pick of Kyle Pitts, they're telling me that at least after this season it's going to be rebuilt, because maybe in the offseason they'll be able to move Matt Ryan. They should have tried to move him long before the draft, long before some of these quarterbacks signed. They should have been calling the Bears before they signed your boy Andy Dalton. Not saying that the Bears would have been interested, but however, you should have been trying to make a move on Matt Ryan's humongous contract before the draft and before the Rams trade. Now you have to keep him because no one has that kind of cap space. And there's really not a major need for a quarterback at that age, at that price. So your best asset is to move on from Julio. He's going to end up being on the Titans. The Chiefs, like I said, the Chiefs should be calling about Julio Jones and trying to figure out how to make space for him on their roster. They're not going to do it because we already had this conversation. They don't listen to the Waiver Wire Queen. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I think they should be calling about him because they can use him at wide receiver because you have Tyreek Hill and then everyone else at wide receiver. They're not.
He's going to
solid, huh?
He's going to Baltimore.
I don't see that as a good location, especially why would Julio want to go to Baltimore if they're just sold on running the ball all the time,
They were working out together. Julio, Lamar Jackson have been working out together. And
he working out with Derrick Henry too. So what you come on now? They out here lifting 800 pounds of weights and stuff, doing backflips, doing the lifting. Come on now, Quinton.
Trey Sammy Watkins.
But let's just say this. He did say he wasn't going to the Cowboys. That's all you need to know.
That's great marketing because I told y'all every player who says comes to the Cowboys, they don't get required. Man said he didn't want to come, and so
he didn't want to come.
is on the phone to get him here, so we'll take it.
I honestly feel like what you said about the whole Calvin Ridley, he's ready because he proved it last season. You got to think this guy had over 1,200 yards last season with Julio out. So they got their number one, and then they drafted a franchise type caliber tight end. This guy is going to be amazing. Okay, so you got your tight end. You got two tight ends because Hurts, he's going to be okay. He's nothing spectacular, but he'll be all right. He's still a weapon. But you got Kyle Pitts and you have Ridley, who's going to prove you wrong this season.
Okay.
And you're gonna hear from the black hand soon on this one. You can visualize the black hand calling you out about Ridley. Just watch. He's gonna be solid. He's proven that he's a number one. I've always kind of been skeptical on him too as well, but he's gonna be all right. And you hope you can get something for Julio, and they should have done it before the draft so they can add to whatever they were trying to do during the draft, but they didn't, and they don't have a lot of cap space, so they're in trouble. They haven't signed their guys yet because the cap is just a hot mess. I do like the Davis signing, however, he's not going to be a long-term solution at running back, so they're going to have to figure that out too. And it doesn't make sense to bring Gurley back because you're really not competing for a Super Bowl. They're not in Super Bowl mode. So I guess that really didn't make sense. I think Davis is going to be solid this season. And let's be real, Matt Ryan hasn't been trash, especially fantasy purposes. He hasn't been trash. So I think he's going to be solid fantasy-wise. And if anyone had any doubts about Kyle Pitts, And if he was going to get the ball, because you got Julio, you got Ridley, guess what? Kyle Pitts is going to get the ball. And we got somebody on here who traded away Kyler Murray and drafted Pitts and replaced a Kyler Murray. So, Dave, you confident in Pitts, right?
Very.
Exactly. We all confident in him. I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, I
good. Fantasy wise, y'all, and just in NFL, but we care more about fantasy on here. Okay, guys. I don't know about you, but Waiver Wire Queen is saying it. Those guys are going to be solid. Davis, he's going to be solid. Obviously, Pitts is going to be solid. He's probably going to have a better season than we would have expected with Julio being gone. And Ridley is obviously going to do what he did last season and more. So they have a good outlook offensively, but I still don't see them really rising up above the Bucs or the Saints in this division. They'll be competing with Carolina for last week. All right, I didn't mean to say that. All right, guys. So we're gonna go on with Quinton. Why don't you rate the quarterbacks in the NFC South from 1 to 4? Give me your quarterback ratings. Come on, let me know. Let Waiver Wire Queen know how you really feel about the quarterbacks in the NFC South, Quinton.
All right, so we got Brady, obviously at 1.
Yeah, Brady's obviously gonna be 1.
Yeah. After that, then you have Matt Ryan. I'm gonna go with Jameson over Darnold. That'll be my lineup.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah, well, Brady is definitely gonna be on top, and Ryan is number 2, and the rest you can just they're all trash after that. So,
okay,
they're all evenly in the bottom.
You talking about quarterbacks being trash? Like his quarterback is doing something. Like his quarterback lighting it up out there. His boy, he been trying to give Jimmy G away since back in the 80s. Come on now. He been trying to give Jimmy G away since day 1. I'm sorry, no, since day 0, before the trade. Once he heard they was trying to trade him, he was like, nah, we don't want him. Okay. I'm in agreement. I got my rankings the same as Quinton. I got Tom Brady, Ryan, I got Hill or Winston, and then I got Darnold. However, if Darnold is the guy the Jets originally thought they were getting when they drafted him, he probably will rise up above Hill or Winston because he has the weapons to do so. So we're just gonna have to see. The GOAT is ready to take that division. You don't have Drew Brees. You don't even have Drew Brees to worry about. Like
exactly.
Okay. It's going down. All right. So Dave, what are your record predictions for the NFC South?
I see Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Records. I want to tell me.
Probably. I don't know. I want to say maybe there's an extra game this year, right? So
17.
So let's say 13-4.
Okay.
I'll say who will come in second in that division?
He's struggling over here. This must be one of the worst divisions. They must be worse than the NFC. Okay.
They're all really bad. I mean,
okay. He out here calling this division out.
I want to say between. I mean, if the Panthers stay healthy, they have a chance. But man, this is a bad division, man. I mean, I could see the Panthers going maybe like 8 and 9 probably.
Okay.
And then the Saints will probably be next. Probably like 5 and
It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Oh
5-12.
Lord, it's a struggle out here in these
And then
NFC
I think the
South
Falcons.
streets.
I think the Falcons gonna be in the basement
All
somewhere,
right.
somewhere like
Uh,
3-15 maybe.
Mm. So Quentin, what do you think? What are your predictions?
well, I'm not gonna be as disrespectful because I and I was like, I understand like you could struggle between the Saints and Carolina because Carolina wasn't last season, and Teddy did kind of like they were winning like a couple games. So, but also the Saints defense seems to
Mhm.
always turn up at the end of the season, and it really carries them over. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Tampa at about 13, 14 wins on the season. I'm gonna go with again it's tough, Carolina or New Orleans, but because I have more faith in Sean Payton, I'm gonna say Orleans can crank out 11 wins this season. I think Carolina can get 8 wins. I think they'll get 9. I think they'll be close to 10 because the culture is there, and I think it's right. And I think Christian McCaffrey really wanted to, and they tried to held him back once he had got hurt because
Mhm.
they were trying to get the higher pick. So I think Carolina will get about 8 or 9 wins, and then of course Atlanta will be the underdogs in that division. But I think it's going to be close between Carolina and New Orleans. I don't think it's going to be uh, them being too far off.
Okay. So I have obviously Tampa winning that division at 12-5. I have the Saints 10-7 because I feel like they still have a more talented roster than the Falcons and the Panthers. So I have them at 10-7. I have the Falcons improving
Mm.
on that horrible season because I feel like they did address some of their needs on the
You're
defensive
gonna put the
side.
Falcons over the Panthers?
So I have them at 8-9, and then I have the Panthers at 7-10 because I feel like alone CMC is going to perform well enough to win them at least 2 games. You figure without him, they what did they win 5 games without him? So it's not impossible for them to win 7 games with him. So that's what I'm going with. Now Atlanta and the Panthers are gonna fight for third and fourth, mainly last place. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm gonna go with the fact that, you know, I still feel like Matt Ryan is obviously better than Darnold and any of the quarterbacks on the Saints. So I feel like he's going to help that Falcons team win more games than what they did. And I'm going to give him a chance and say that you gotten rid of the coach, you have just some new personnel in there, and you did try to address the major issues, which is why I have them over the Panthers.
You know what? I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change
Oh,
mine.
now he out here trying to change
Ah,
predictions.
Hey, cause nah. I look at Roby and he's 1,000 yard receiver. Uh,
Mhm.
get Sam Darnold in the Jets. The Jets didn't have a line. They didn't have an O line, and they didn't have a running back. And now he has both with Roby and. So I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay, Carolina, and I think Carolina will win 12 games this season.
Woo! So what's your order from 1 to 4? You don't have to tell me the actual record. What's your order?
I think this season Sam
Mm.
Darnold, I think Sam Darnold has a big season. I think Sam is gonna have what Ryan Tannehill had when he went to Tennessee, and I think that because they have that added playoff spot, I think there's gonna be a tie in the NFC South between Tampa Bay and Carolina. I think they're gonna win 12, 13 games. and I think that we're gonna see Tampa Bay season off because they're gonna have that the Super Bowl hangover.
Mhm.
They're gonna have that, so I think that Carolina is gonna take off on that division and eat that division for maybe the first half of the season. But I think it's gonna be neck and neck between Carolina and Tampa Bay.
Woo! I'm pulling a U. I need to put some glasses on for that one because I can't see what you seeing out there. But we'll have to see. It's just we don't know what Darnold can be because he really didn't have any much around him to perform at whatever level the Jets thought he could be when they drafted him. That's a big comparison that season that Tannehill had. Okay.
Well, I'm not changing
You
nothing.
want to put some pesos on it? Want to do a little bet on that? Because that's some high expectations. Now, I always thought Tannehill was solid and could be solid when he was on the Dolphins, but Gase, he ruins people. And
Right.
that just wasn't a good situation down there in Miami. However, I think people are overvaluing him because of this season. But if you want to put a little $25 bet on this, we can, or we can do some beverages.
I definitely
I give me my wild cherry Pepsi. I don't think Darnold's gonna have the Tannehill type season he just had. But we can do a little bet if you want.
yeah, we could do that because I actually think he will.
That's a big
I think
season.
Darnold I think Darnold position to because there's nothing. I feel like there's no pressure on Sam Darnold to perform this season. And
I agree.
I think that he has the opportunity to finally be around pieces. And if they get a Julio Jones or if they get a solid number one receiver, they still have Roby. And he had in the Jets, he had Roby and Crowder, and he made it work somehow. Now he has like cranked out over 4,000 yards, but he also didn't have. He was running for his life in New York. He didn't have a running back. So Le'Veon Bell was like what on the end, like really, because I think Sam Darnold's gonna have an MVP. He's gonna be the dark horse MVP sleeper, Sam Darnold this season, and I think they'll win 12 to 13 games in Carolina.
You must be sipping on what I had over here, because
No, I think I definitely
did
think
he say
Carolina.
Did he say MVP type season? He kind of threw that out there just slowly. He said and then he threw it out there.
I
He wasn't
definitely
confident at first, but he
Yeah,
MVP. Woo, Lord, that's a high. That's a tall.
I definitely think Carolina's gonna come in second, but it's gonna be like a distant second between them and Tampa. And I just think it's gonna be Tampa. And I don't even see them. I don't see no wild card coming out of the South. If they're gonna finish the way you talking, they probably gonna win the wild card.
Wow. For you to put him in MVP kind of caliber conversations, yeah, we got to do a bet. I don't think he's gonna have the Tannehill season. So if I win, you give me some wild cherry Pepsi. What do you want if you win?
I don't know. I'll figure that out.
You want some
Oh, no.
sparkling cider or some? I'll get you a case of water. Hit our 2-minute drill. Quinton, what are your final thoughts?
So the NFC South. Like I said, it took some time to think about, but yeah, I'm rolling with Tampa Bay to come out, but I definitely think Carolina is a sleeper. They're gonna be a tough wild card matchup in the playoffs, and I said it here on
I like that.
Waiver Queen that the Carolina Panthers behind Sam Darnold, they're gonna have a terrific season.
All right.
Dave,
All right.
final thoughts?
Yeah, well, I see Tampa obviously winning that division. I agree. The Panthers definitely is gonna be in the point. I see them coming in second. I just don't agree on those high expectations as Quentin has.
Right? Got MVPs and Super Bowls coming out of Carolina.
Yeah.
Baby steps, right?
And I think New Orleans could be good too if they. Well,
Just for me is you put a lot on Sam Darnold. You saw the tape. Now we all saw Sam Darnold come out of college, and they were very high on Sam, and he didn't really have a chance to prove us wrong about any because of the situation. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback, so I'm curious to see how it plays out. I just think they have a lot of weapons around him right now, and this could be it for him.
I mean, let's say you're right, Quentin? Let's say you're right, and he is a great quarterback. But it takes more than 1 year to have a type of year that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, if he is gonna pop up, that's gonna be in the second year he's with them. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, that's the bold prediction.
Well, yeah, not necessarily because you figure Tannehill, he exceeded everyone's expectations. No one expected Tannehill to perform the way he did this past season. I honestly don't feel like he's going to perform at that level this upcoming season. I think that everyone is sleeping on the Saints, and they should not, because they still have a solid team. However, I think they get the quarterback situation right, they will still be the Saints they were over the last few seasons. Playoff team, over 500. Potentially, they will have the chance to win the division. Don't think they're going to get over the hump because obviously you got the GOAT on the Bucs. However, if they get it right, they have a chance to compete to be the number one team in that division.
Yeah, but that's the whole big thing depends on their quarterback.
Yeah.
They need to get that right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I also feel like Kyle Pitts is going to show up and show out.
Yeah.
You're moving on from Julio, which is going to be a big step. It's going to be hard, and Kyle Pitts is going to show up, and he's going to prove the waiver wire queen right for making this big old trade in fantasy. I traded away Saquon, got all these draft picks, and I ended up picking Kyle Pitts because it was a bold move for me, and I'm hoping that it's going to pay off.
From your mouth to God's ears.
We have that relationship, so I'm expecting that a high return on my little trade. You know, I think that Winston should be the guy in the Saints organization. He should be the guy. I'm hoping that he has gotten that turnover situation under control. He like giving away the damn ball. Hopefully he's gotten that under control and he can be the guy. So my guy, Michael Thomas, who I'm going to predict it will still be one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. Y'all stop sleeping on Mike. All right, y'all. Y'all let us know what you think. Who do you think is going to win in the division? Do you think Michael Thomas is going to come back and be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL? Do you think he's going to have any value in fantasy football this upcoming season? Do you think CMC is going to stay healthy and come back and be the top running back in the NFL? And do you think the Atlanta Falcons are going to give up some more early Christmas gifts this season?
Or do you agree with Quentin and think the Panthers are going to go 17-0?
Right, he got the Panthers like going 17-0, winning a Super Bowl. All right, y'all hit that like button so you can see more videos like this. Make sure you leave some comments because we will respond. Hit that subscribe button and follow Waiver Wire Queen on Facebook, IG, Twitter, and TikTok because I'm a TikTok person now. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.